Hello and welcome back to Factorio. We are in our Exotic Industries playthrough and a funny thing happened. When I turned on the builds from last time, our power use went up and exceeded what we could produce with our little power module here. Now, I would like to retire this power module as it is because it's burning coal, and coal is useful for other things. And also, we need to start relieving the pressure on our residual oil. So I'd really like to use oil burners. So I thought this might be a good time to try and design a power module. And so I've got some steam engines, which we will find some way to link together in a way that can be powered. We have fluid burners. Okay, and these are going to burn residual oil. So if I put down a line like that. Okay, now if we were to pop this one further out, because I think we're optimizing for... Oh, I can't... Okay. We are optimizing for width in this case rather than height. So something like that. Except I need to leave 4 tiles at the top. I'm beginning to wonder if I should redesign this to contain a 4-tile curtain, just to remind me. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's see how well this fits. So that is 4, 8, 12, 16. Okay, so it's not quite 20. And what would we need to make it 20? So that would be a full block. But then there's nowhere to bring in the fuel, which is disappointing. Okay, so how else could we do this? And it also doesn't leave room for our roboport, which was one of the things I wanted to make sure about. Okay, so perhaps there's something where we break the grid. We go side by side. This is only 2 tiles wide though, so I don't think there is room for a supply depot in the middle. I mean, it would not be the end of the world to lose a single steam engine. Although there is actually room up here. Yeah, there's room up here. Okay. So, I wonder. Now, obviously, I don't know if this is a sensible place to build it. But maybe it's as good as any other place. Maybe it's as good. So if we were to do that, I can always put this back again after. I know there's a certain YouTuber who is congenitally incapable of breaking the line for the path, but I'm not him. Okay, so that would work. The problem then is water. Because I can't actually bring the water in if we do this. Okay, so I'm not sure this design is going to work. The other option is to do power generation just completely off the grid. Or to not do a build of 20. Okay, so let's cut this. Alright. So I suppose I could do 18 instead of 20. So if I pick this back up and we put it down. Okay, and we just lose these top two rows. I can lift this up. Okay. So then we could have a supply station here. And then, yeah, this is going to have to be over here, isn't it, to line up? Okay, so let's move it back one and move the whole of this over. Yeah, it's never going to line up perfectly because it's an even number of tiles in the block and an odd number of tiles in the build. So it's going to have to be off one way or the other. Okay, and then we need a supply of water. I think I'm going to do both ends like that. And then I guess we can just, in this case, pump it in. Do we have an offshore pump? I can never find them. It's one of the bits of the Factorio UX which I think could do with some improvement. Okay, so that's water. I'm going to go grab a load of pipe because I've got a feeling that I'm going to run out halfway through the build, which would be sad and unfortunate. Okay, do I need more undergrounds? No, I'm good for undergrounds. And I'm still working through a bunch of helper techs that don't count towards progression, because I thought I would do the progressing techs in the game properly. All right, there's a couple of glitches with this build. We're missing this pipe. Okay, and then we're missing power, but I'm going to do the power after we've done everything else, I think. Let's build. Good, that's the water in. Okay, that's the center. Everything's joined up, I believe. So this needs to be a requester station, and it's going to request residual oil. Good. And then I found that fluids transport really badly. So you have to, let's put that down. You have to put in more trucks than you would hope to be able to transport fluids. Okay, and then the last thing is, let's just put these down. Good. Then, all right, so this is all joined up now. I'm just going to look in the map view to double check, and we will turn on wire visualization. Yes, the wires are all there. Good. It's always worth checking because I've had issues before where I've set up what I thought was a perfectly good power station, and then there's been just the tiniest of issues with the power station not being wired in. Alright, so let's put down a second one. Ooh, that's exciting. Alright, where did that come from? Okay, there must be a nest we don't know about down here. Well, we will keep an eye on that. Still plenty of... Alright, so what was this in the end? This was 1632. So do we have... Okay, so I need more of everything, really. I'm going to do this build off camera because it's just a copy-paste. And there's no point in you watching me doing that. What we're going to do instead is have a start to have a think about this build. So oh, sorry, I put down crushers. That was very foolish. Good, let's not put down crushers, let's put down assembling machines. Okay, and then from memory, each coil machine needs 2 plate machines. Is it possible to get this to almost sit in line? It's not, because this machine here doesn't line up with this machine here. Okay, so if that goes up just 1. Okay. Let's pull it all up and then see how much space that takes up. Okay. So that's... Do we think that's the best we can do? Okay, so I could trade some width for height, but it's only going to be so much height. So that's only 4 machines, which is pretty bad. Okay. What can we do? So the issue is I can obviously make the build another 3 tiles fatter on that side and 4 on that side. So I've got 7 extra tiles width. But the height here, there's clearly not enough room for another module here. And to get the height down, I'm not sure how I would adjust the build. Okay, so that's attempt number 1. Alright, let's start with the copper coil situation. We can gain a tile there and a tile there, but 2 tiles isn't 15 tiles. So this arrangement is never going to be quite what we want. Okay, we can do something like that. Something like that. Let's just sketch it. It's not the most efficient of things. Okay, and then this still needs 2 of the diode machines. How does that look? That's not too bad, is it? And then we might be able to fit 3 of these. No, we can't. Let's see. Let's start off with it somewhere that is technically illegal. No, it's still only 2. Okay, so it looks like this is our build. And I just want to double check the ratios. Okay, so one of these requires 1 of these electronic dooberies, and it is a 2-to-1 build. Okay. So I think this is our build. Let's bring this in by 1. These require ceramic, so maybe I should be taking it out. Okay, so now that's a gap of 3 and a gap of 2, which isn't the end of the world, but I've violated the space at the top. Okay. So then we would have ceramics. This needs ceramics and... this needs copper. And this needs... Right, let's double check these ratios because I am not totally convinced. Okay, I have an extra coil machine for this build. Let's just double check that. So, this requires 2 coils. This requires 1, so that's a total of 3. And that produces 2. Okay, so I've got half a machine I don't need. But there's no way to use the other half. Okay, this would be another option, I suppose. And how does that do for height? It's pretty similar, isn't it? Although, no, maybe it's not pretty similar at all. It's actually quite a bit higher. Okay. I think we'll go with this until we decide we want something very different. Alright, so then the arms go something like, we need because this needs coils, it needs electronic tubes and iron plate, which we're not making. Okay, so where would an iron plate machine go? And how many do we need? We need 1. And that's 0.5, so we need 2 iron plate machines. Good lord. Alright. Let's look at this again. I have 3 of those. Which means I have 6 of these. Which lets me do 2 of these. Requires 2 of these. And... four of those. Okay, so that's our actual parts list. So this build is rubbish, isn't it? Okay. So I'm considering doing evil things like belting coils. Because this, as far as I can tell, is the build for just powering 2 green circuit machines. And I want, obviously, to have far more than 2 green circuit machines. So maybe the option is to belt coils. I'm not sure. Sorry, this is wrong, isn't it? There we go. This is not going to be a nice compact build, is it? So we don't need copper ingots for anything except the plates. So let's move this out of the way a bit. So if we wanted to something like that. Okay. These require coils. So is there some way to feed these coils? Let's have a look. What arrangements do we currently have? So we can do right angle feeds. So we can do something like this to feed at right angles. But this arrangement here, we can't. We could do something like that. We might end up with problems with arm swing speed. Might need to use fast inserters to make sure it keeps up. And then we need some way to get this into... It's still not right, is it? Because we need 2 of these for 1 of these. Okay, so I think we're coming around to the option of outputting this onto a belt. All right, so then how about if we had 2 of these here and 2 of these here? Okay, then this can pick up. Is that the right way? No, it's not. So then this can pick up the copper coils. This can collect copper coils itself. That passes that product through, which means we would need an underground. Then this needs the extra product of... sorry, I'm using all my brain for this. This needs its ceramics and glass input, which it could get here. The problem is that these guys also need the iron. Let's copy this. So this clearly goes further than the middle of a build. So it's going to be a big ask to fit 4 green circuit machines into a single unit, and certainly not 8. Maybe I'm trying to do too much. Maybe I should split it up into 2 builds. That would be an option, wouldn't it? I just don't like the idea of splitting a green circuit build up into multiple modules. Alright, how else can we do this? So I still haven't figured out... I don't think we have the height for 2 of these, do we? No. So in terms of height, this is kind of a non-starter. Okay, it's clearly too big to fit into a single module. I don't particularly want to break up the module grid pattern. So... these guys are a problem. These guys seem to add the extra complexity that pushes it over the edge. The other way we could do it is to have a module which is a bunch of the intermediates for the green circuits, and then a module directly next to it, joined by undergrounds, which is the rest of the stuff. So it's a sort of a back-to-back module. I'm not sure how well that works in practice. All right, how else could we do this? I can't work this out. All right. Let's go back to basics. So let's ignore the issues with plates. Let's say we make plates elsewhere. All right. So then okay, so this is massively overproducing the cable. Okay, so that is correct. And I could clearly, you know, some variant on this could be copy pasted. Okay. Okay, and then this is it's 1 to 4 on these, but that's fine because I need 4 of these. Yeah, so that's fine. So I think what I'm coming round to is I'm going to do a separate diode. What are these things called? Electronic tube. I'm going to do a separate electron tube build, just because it seems like it's going to be a pain to fit everything in if I do the electron tubes in the same build as the circuits. Okay, let's paste that over there and work out what an electron tube build would look like. At least then we're making some progress. Alright, so as far as I can tell, this has 3 inputs. It's got ceramics, glass, and copper. Alright, we need an output here, just for the sake of measuring things. Okay, so let's say we had 8 of these. So that's enough for 2 circuits. That's enough for 4 circuits. Yeah, so we would just never have fitted this build in, would we? Okay, and although technically we only need 1 between 4, let's do it as 1 between 2, just for the sake of making life easier for ourselves. Okay, and then each of these just needs a single plate maker. Again, because we're making life easier for ourselves. So let's move that out. Okay. Then I think we can move the whole thing up 1. Yep. So the coil machines are running at half speed. This is the idea. And pick from there. Good, and it's going to be plate. All right. And then we can flip that to go there and there. We need ingots. Okay, we're probably going to need quite a lot of ingots for this, I'm guessing. I think we'll put the arms in the middle, just for aesthetics. Alright. So, that is the coppery part of the build. Now, these need to have an output, which presumably goes up here. And let's limit this to 2 rows for no particular good reason. Okay, and then these need an extra input, a split belt input. Which means this build, I think, needs to slide back to there. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Okay, and then how is this going to work? So, okay, we have an issue with the whole build being too high, I think. Can we move the whole build down 1? Yep. Let's do that. So then this can input there, and then we can output there, and input there and there. This is a fairly standard pattern, but it does require everything to be lined up correctly. And then these are probably in the wrong place. We will move them out of the way, find the right place for them in a minute. Let's build this. Yeah, this is, for me, this has been a really tricky build. So lots of things I was going to get done today have turned into just this one thing. But never mind. So this is going to need copper ingots. Let's put that there. And I'll mark it with copper ingots just so that I remember. Okay, so that's going to output like that. Good. Then we'll have to figure out how we're going to cable all this in a moment. So then we need a split belt of ceramic. If this was 1 tile over, it would be easier. Alright. So this is a split belt of... There we go. Of ceramic and glass. So there's the glass. And ceramic there. That looks right, doesn't it? It's a bit unfortunate we've got this wiggle. Can we improve that wiggle? Can we do... Yes, we can. Okay, so that works. Now my next worry is we have 8 plate makers, and I want to know if that uses a belt of material. No, it doesn't. Okay, so that's fine. So what we could do is take this belt and actually wrap it backwards down here. I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay, so do I want to use small poles or big poles? I've only got 20 of these. But it looks like it's going to be a nice cable job with them. Let's flip that so we get matching cables. Okay, and then that appears to be fine there. Just needed to pick that up and put it down to get it to connect across. Okay, so that looks like this build is done. Let's put in some trucks. Now I realise not all the requisites are ready, but some of them are. Okay, and then we can come back and think about this build. But I think we've done enough design work today. So I think we'll come back to this build next time. And I'm going to add ceramic onto the to-do list. Good. And I'm going to take glass off the list. And right, so one last issue. This has it's just not keeping up with demand. Okay, so that's the issue. So let's have a quick look down at our refineries. Okay, we have actually just burnt up all the residual oil. That's what the problem is. And this is now full. Okay, so we've switched our bottleneck over from residual oil to petroleum. But at least petroleum is now being perma-produced, so that part of the problem's gone. All right. Call that a day. Next time we'll do more on the green circuit build. Hopefully make a bit more progress. Till then, thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.